Perfect.
Obviously she is.
All right. So welcome to our September meeting. We've got a special guest from Pacific Gas and Electric today to talk about vehicle grid integration. So a topic of extreme high interest. I would say that when I think about all the topics that we face when we talk to the public, they always want to know about charging. How fast can I charge? And how many miles can I get for charge? When we talk amongst ourselves, PGI is top of mind of what can I do with my 77 kilowatt hour battery?
Yeah,
how long can I run my
house?
house?
The house is only 12.5. Between the cars is over 100 kilowatt hours.
Exactly. And I debated buying a Lightning for years just to get that 100 kilowatt hour battery, because it was you kind of got a car for free if you just bought the battery. Honestly, the way they had it priced. So anyway, we're looking forward to the discussion. So welcome. And what we usually do is go around the room after we do a little bit of administrative stuff. And look at that. That's what we're going to do today. If you go to the next slide. So first, John, thanks for hosting us here at Thunderstruck.
Oh, okay.
And we meet here most of the time. We meet sometimes over at Sonoma Clean Power's now what they call the Customer Care Center over there in Santa Rosa. But generally we meet here. And if you go to the next slide. Because it's an active manufacturing and distribution business, keep your hands in your pockets, all those normal things when dealing with manufacturing businesses. The bathroom is just behind these cabinets right here, and then if something happens, maybe a lithium fire, we're going to go out. We're going to go out one of the open doors, and the halon gas will kick in, and we'll be all fine. Mike, thanks for bringing the donuts this time.
Yeah, important topic. So I brought more, thinking we'd have more attendance today. So everybody's got to have more.
Dig in. All right, dig in. Get that sugar high going. All right, so thanks, Mike, and welcome to our new members. So, did I miss anything? All right. John, did you want to comment else about the building? Maybe
if you want, after the anybody who's here, we're converting this truck for Albert Strauss for Strauss Creamery.
Oh, wow.
And if you have questions, I can answer that after.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Mike has finally noticed. Mike joined the EV6 gang. He's finally out of the 31 miles of range on his roof. So,
By the way,
20 miles of range.
Maybe a bunch more, because I've attended a beer thing, a party thing with a bunch of friends down in South Bay, all of whom own Teslas, and they all want to dump them.
Yeah, right.
As a political
statement.
Different people coming to me saying, how do I get rid of my Tesla and get something like your car?
Yeah, right.
Could be a good
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So we thought Hertz had an impact on the used market, but Elon does, right? Yeah, that's right. All right, next.
There are bumper stickers that I've seen that I bought this before I knew about.
All right, so let's start here. Maybe we start on the Zoom call, and maybe start with you, Lawrence. Who are you, and how do you get around?
Lawrence. I live in Palo Alto here in the South Bay. My partner has a 2019 Chevy Bolt EV that she drives most of the time, but I'm her chauffeur to LA once or twice a year, so we put in about the same amount of miles on the thing. I have an electric boost bike with a trailer I try to use for local stuff, and I also walk and take a normal bicycle. But I wanted to throw in, I'm very into vehicle to grid, and to me, the importance of it is, and the applicability, it's really important, is getting fossil fuels off the grid. And instead of using nuclear power and fossil fuels to take care of our peak needs, if we charge up our batteries and our EVs on renewables during the day, which often are shed from the grid for lack of load, and then return them to our homes and the grid in the evening, then we can help with our climate change goals much more quickly than waiting for grid storage to be made with separate batteries than the ones we have in our cars because of natural resource and battery manufacturing pinch points. Just a total no-brainer. There's off-the-shelf technology that can do it in 5 kilowatt blocks. I look forward to our discussion with PG&E about how to make this happen more quickly.
All right, perfect. Thank you. David Heacock.
Hi, I've been driving my wife's 2007 hybrid Saturn View. I think I might have had a breakthrough on my 1985 Avante, which is converted to electric yesterday. I'm not totally sure if everything's going to work correct, but it's working right now. But I'm waiting until Monday to get some contact spray for some connectors. I'm just realizing that the biggest part of electric cars seems to be electrical connections.
Oh, yes.
Unlike gas cars, but
Yeah.
that can really surprise you. In the interim here in the last few months, I now have a Franklin backup battery system, and I have 2 batteries on the system. And it's basically, I'm not taking anything from the grid or very little during the summertime now. So I'm not using the grid anymore, hopefully. Been working great.
Thank you, David. Russ?
I'm Russ Wigglesworth. I live in Petaluma. I have a 2015 Kia Soul that's still getting me just about 100 miles per charge. And after this, I'm going down to the city to see the Aptera.
Yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Send some pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do videos.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Cecilia.
Hi, Cecilia Sullivan, she, her. I am President Emeritus of the North Bay Electric Auto Association. I'm based in Ukiah, and I currently drive one of the beloved Teslas. Have a reservation for Aptera. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good. Ellen.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Ellen. I'm in Santa Rosa. I drive a 2017 Chevy Bolt that I bought used in 2019, and I love the car. We've been up to Oregon a few times in it, and yeah, I'm excited for today's meeting. Good to see everyone.
Good to see you. Looks like Woody, I think, is next.
Morning. Woody Hastings here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Good. Woody Hastings here. I live just outside of Sebastopol. Drive a 2013 Chevy Volt with a V as in Victor. My day job is at an organization called the Climate Center, and we have a legislation that we've sponsored this legislative session, SB 59, that's currently on the governor's desk. Wait for his signature. That advances, it's relevant to today's discussion, advances bidirectionality for EVs, bidirectional charging. And so, if you can take a few moments and write a little love note to the governor, urging him to sign that bill, SB 59, that would be great.
Woody, is that the delayed bill from last year that Skinner wrote?
Started out as SB 233, yes.
Okay.
It's the same continuum. It's very, very different from what it initially was. It had a a year certain mandate for all EVs manufactured sold in the state of California to have bidirectional capability. That needed to be scaled back to get buy-in from certain parties, so it's basically is a bill that asks the California Energy Commission to carry out a rapid analysis of the vehicles classes, the vehicles that should have a bidirectional capability in the state.
Very good. Caleb.
Oh, there he is.
Hello, Caleb Landry. I live in Aliso Viejo down in Southern California, down in Orange County. And for the first time in 13, almost 14 years, I actually don't have an EV. I had a Volkswagen ID4, a 2023. It had a lot of shall we say, a few issues, and Volkswagen decided that they were insurmountable and they bought it back. So,
Jeez. Ouch.
so I'm riding a bike now.
That's all right. Well, that's
Even
great.
better than a car.
Yeah, that's great. Tom Danaher.
There we go. Sorry. Like the gentleman before me, no EV at the moment after years of hot rodding a gem, thanks to Thunderstruck. Very grateful for all the help I had way back when. We did about 6 years with Nissan Leafs. And right now I've got my second Aptera reservation in. I did one way back when they tried to launch the first time around, and so I'm, I don't know, 1,500 on the list, I think, hoping they get to market. Otherwise, we mostly ride bikes and burn a little bit of gas in a Prius. We have an electric bike and a fleet of regular non-electric bikes, but just thanks to everyone there for carrying the torch and keeping this going. I'm just very, very grateful. And also thanks Woody for that report. I hope Newsom does the right thing there. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Unless I miss somebody online, I think we'll go here. Maybe start with you, Kristin.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Kristin Landry. I have been at PG&E for 2 years. I'm a renter, so I have a Prius, and happy to be here in Tokyo.
All right, very good. Amy?
Hello, I'm Amy Costadone. Like since 2006.
Okay.
A long time. In my house, we have a Chevy Bolt. Primarily, my husband drives it. He commutes. We live in Santa Rosa. He's in business in San Francisco. Primarily, it's a motor car. Drive a 2012 Subaru Outback most days. Live all my kids around. I'm one of those people that's very eager about the 3-row EVs that are coming out.
Yes.
I've been excited about the ID Buzz for many years. There's no roadmap for B to G capabilities there, which is a bummer. We really want that.
Driving EV9.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's
3 rows and
yeah.
So the prices were sliding down to where my EV6 was when I got it. So.
Yeah.
So at National Drive Electric Week in 3 weeks in Santa Rosa, we'll have a EV9 there from Jim Bone, and then I believe Ellen is working with VinFast to have their, what do they call it, the V9 or something there?
Like a VF9.
VF9, that's it. Yeah. So you can take a look at those there while you're. Next time you come all the way up to out here in the outer perimeter of Santa Rosa.
There's a lot of kids in elementary school with me.
Yeah.
All the trampoline parks here.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Saturday
The 5th. Yeah, Saturday the 5th. Yeah, Saturday the 5th. Yeah. Tor, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah. Let's see. Driving a Bolt. This is a Ford Bolt for 2020 right now. On top. Supposed to leasing. Otherwise, bike around town. And I will say I saw a Ford Transit passenger van. It's parked out at Riley for charging. I put a note and say, "Tell me your story. What do you do?"
Yeah.
It doesn't have as long a range, I don't think. But it certainly has a lot of seats.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Jerry?
I'm Jerry Glazer. And today I drove 2018 Leaf. We also have an EV9. We electrified our house. Put a 12.5 kilowatt hour battery on the side. So we were pretty much off grid until Sonoma updated the software. And now the battery doesn't contribute as much as it did before. So I have service calls into.
It's a feature, not a bug, Jerry.
It's absolutely a bug. It charges slower and it discharges slower. And
perfect.
The software, I wanted to write back to them and go, who does your software validation? Caleb and I did validation on designs for electric buses and trucks. And it's the software that screws up every time. Anyway, I've been driving EVs since '98, on and off, whenever they were available production-wise. So I've been through 2 different Leafs, and the EV6. I was in a Think for a while, and an EV Plus from Honda. And then we were in Priuses. Your comment about being a renter. It's a major challenge. I have two roles. One that the club assigned me to, which is I sit on the customer advisory committee for Sonoma County Transit Authority. One of the issues is how do we get it so that people in rentals have a place to charge. Most of the building codes today, if you want a new rental unit, you're going to find out that they have to provide that. I'm also on the Policy Advisory Council for the MPC. And there also, the topic comes up over and over because more than 50% of the people in the Bay Area rent. And it's a problem to be solved. And in fact, I don't know if Grant's here, but we've been having a discussion with Sonoma Clean Power about what are the different ways we can actually get stations on the road. There's 3 or 4 companies doing that in association with the power companies in New York State. So that, like in Brooklyn, with Con Ed and a couple of other companies, they're putting stations on the streets. And some of the newer pushes don't include the cable, which makes it a lot simpler. So, and the last thing I just was going to point out was that Zeno and I have finished fixing his Zappino, and neither one of us want to ride it anymore. So if somebody's interested in buying a Zappino, Zeno has one, and a friend of mine helped me fix the kickstand, and I had him ride it back over to my house, and I clocked it at 50 miles an hour on the Zappino. And I thought they were limited to 25, but it's not really goes.
Another software feature, not a bug, Jack.
Yeah, clearly is. Yeah.
More details.
Yeah. Jared, when you electrified your house, did you cut off gas service?
No, the only gas I have left in the house, and I couldn't talk my friend, the contractor, into it, was when it turned out when we renovated the house, the building code in California, Title 24, in fact, said that we couldn't take a gas water heater and replace it with an electric water heater. It was not allowed 8 years ago.
Oh.
And so we had to put in an on-demand water heater for one bathroom, which is only used when we have a guest visiting us. So my PG&E gas bill is $4.10 a month, every month.
Wow.
And the rest of it's all electric, and 7 kilowatt hours. It's a little bit short on taking care of everything because we have 2 electric cars. But if you didn't have 2 electric cars, 7 kilowatts on the roof is more than enough to power a home that uses heat pumps.
Right, with the Sonic, in fact. Yeah. Well, what used to be the Sonic battery.
Well, it still is a Sonic battery.
Right.
It's a cell battery.
That's right. John.
Yeah, I drive we work here at Thunderstruck with Brian Hall, who owns it. And partly through work here and partly just with Ellen, my daughter, and myself, in 2010 we converted a 1985 Toyota pickup. It's been through a lot of changes and even an accident, and it's back up its own road, and it's all doing great. So now it has the Nissan Leaf motor in it, and fairly substantial pack, so I get 100 miles.
The next two, the 2 embarrassed people.
I'm Sonia Carey. Remember the.
That's right. That's right. We are now entering the Tesla part of the room.
We used to be in the majority, and now I guess we're in the doghouse. I drive a Tesla Model 3, got it in 2019, and it has like 225 miles of range. There's a lot of car left in it, after 5 years, so I guess I will have to rebrand it.
I'm just going to.
It started out at 240 because it was a standard range.
Oh. See, EV6, 330.
Yeah, that's this way.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And they'd have to make a new one.
Yeah. This time,
I asked a higher source this week, ChatGPT, how many different models of electric vehicles were available commercially today in the United States. Anybody have any idea? 134.
Wow.
Yeah, you're close.
Wow.
And 40% of them, more than 40% of them are passenger vehicles. 10 to 15 of them are trucks, and the rest are commercial vehicles.
All right, Bernie?
Yeah, Bernie Dolan, and got a 3, and I got collectors on the roof, but my wife drives the Leaf, and we just found out that we're getting a brand new battery for our Leaf.
Wow. What year is your
What
Leaf?
year is it? Well, the Leaf is a 2016.
That's some warranty.
We still have till October before the initial warranty's up. And so my wife had it in the shop, and they said, and she commented that it only made it at about a 70-mile range now. It's originally 115, and they looked at, they had to bring it back in another day, and they checked it all out, and they now have a Leaf battery on the way. I guess they can't fly it, so they got to put it on a boat from Japan. Really, so it's going to take a couple of months to get here.
Yeah.
And but anyway.
All right.
Please.
Yeah.
Do you know what they're replacing it for the same size or slightly bigger?
They didn't, and of course we'll take it.
Yeah.
This is a
Right.
bigger one. You better change the bracketry because some of that model will take electric power.
What?
Yeah, but you have to change the mounts.
Wow.
But if you don't have a small one,
Yeah.
All right, Mike?
Have the smaller one anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't make it.
But my wife wouldn't let me get another Tesla anyway. So.
That's right.
But you also have
Right.
a story on the Tesla battery, so you dropped following up on that, or what are you going to do?
I don't know.
The batteries for your system, for your house.
Well, they still aren't reason. You know, they don't make financial sense, economic sense. So I'm still kind of hanging around waiting.
Did you at least change your schedule?
Did I
You changed your PG&E schedule yet, huh?
No, I haven't.
We're gonna
Talk
move
to
on
these
here.
guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mike, pick us up. Pick us up,
Yep.
Mike.
So, Mike Newell, presently I own 3 electric vehicles.
Woohoo!
And
You drive a couple of them over here.
I drove one. I just drove one. Yeah, my other car, it still could make it here, but yeah, anyway. So
But
yeah.
you need to plug into that.
No, not today. In fact, I could charge your car.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
so,
There you go. There
yeah.
you go. Throw it down, Mike.
Yep.
Mr.
So,
EV6.
so I did get an EV6 through watching the rental car turn-in process, which I could have long stories about
How
that.
about a presentation? That's what we really like, Mike.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. You can see I'm.
Did you get a credit on it, or a big like?
No, but my. Okay. Short, long story. So Tuesday was my wife's birthday, and on Sunday last week, she said she was trolling around because we've been trying to get a car to replace my 20-mile range car, and she said, oh, there's an EV6 in Vegas. She goes, I'll go to Vegas for my birthday.
Oh.
So she flew to Vegas.
Hey,
hung out
stop for
for
1 second. Can you guys on Zoom hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just see Tom's
Yes.
up there, and your face should have popped up, or
He's
the room should have popped up.
yeah, he's stopped.
Yep.
Okay.
So she went to Vegas, hung out for 2 days, bought the EV6, drove it home, arrived yesterday, lunchtime yesterday.
Wow.
So anyway.
So there's 2 presentations because that's a road trip. So
Yeah,
that's...
right. Yep. So anyway, I got to figure out what to do with my Leaf now.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Brad, how are you?
Hey, Don, not bad.
Good.
Do you need a
Hi.
20-mile leap?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hi, my name is Brad Morrison. I drive a 2004 Honda Civic Hybrid with about 190,000 miles on it, although I'm
Keep going.
sweatier today because I biked.
Good.
So, and my personal EV project is that I'm hoping to find a partner or partners to work with because there's no used vehicle dealership in the North Bay that specializes in electric vehicles.
That's a fact.
So that's my goal someday.
All right. I'm Dom Hulamart. I'm president, and there's a couple of 3 president emerituses, or 2 here, one there and one there and one there. So I drive an electric bike mostly, and EV6, and then I have a pickup truck that I tow a lot with, so we camp and boat and all that stuff. So let's move on to the next part. I think yes, we can do that, Tom, for sure. Yeah, good point. If we go to the next slide, so kind of a summary thing. So the EVA mission, we're a chapter of the Electric Vehicle Association, and we educate and advocate for the rapid adoption of electric vehicles. We've got 2, 3, 4 public-facing events a year. Earth Day. We did 2 Earth Days this year. We're doing National Drive Electric Week here in Santa Rosa in a month on the 5th of October. And we just got an invite yesterday, or from another place in Manchester.
I had to find out where that was.
It's beautiful up there in Lake County. So we may be doing that as well. A couple of us may go up there, but our goal is to advocate for the adoption of electric vehicles. And we push out 3 emails per month from the club mailing, and then we do a recap after this meeting to kind of brief everybody who missed the meeting.
So 150 number of people in the chapter.
Yeah, 150 is number of people in the chapter. And then all of these meetings are recorded on YouTube, so our viral videos are 12 views. So when we go crazy, we got 14 or something.
We have videos going back to the beginning of COVID.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see. There you go, right there. Previous meeting access is available via the deck. So if you guys want the deck, I can push it out. Yeah. There are 3 methods of comms. You talked about the club group, and then there's another NBEAA discuss where we have anybody in the group, and the 130 can jump in on a conversation about a topic. And then if any of the members find things that are important from a news perspective, they send those links into NBEAA or news@nbea.org, and then we generally make a slide for them as we talk about it as a group, so kind of keep everybody informed of what's going on. Next one. So I think this is, so Cecilia, I think you're going to take the next 2, right? The website and then NDEW as well.
Yes. So
Okay.
just letting folks know that we have a back catalog of materials from the previous iteration of the website, and those are going up under this new section. It's local interests, and there's going to be new stuff. I'm slowly adding in some of the older stuff, but will be stuff about events, conversion projects. A lot of that is going to be like the older content.
Just pull it straight down so it's tall.
Yeah, I want to see the slide, Jerry.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about National Drive Electric Week, or NDEW. So this event will be October 5th. We've talked about it a few times. It's going to be at Sonoma Clean Power's Customer Care Center. Education and training is going to be running from 10 to 11, although doors open at 9:30. And the EV showcase is 9:30 to 1:30, although the official start time is going to be 10. There will be a selection of EVs there that we are curating. If you have an unusual EV, you've registered to attend, offer to show your vehicle. And if you think it's a good fit for the show, we might ask you to join us for showing your vehicle. This, as an FYI, that NDEW is sponsored by National Drive Electric, or by Plug-in America, Electric Vehicle Association, Sierra Club, EV Hybrid North, and Drive Electric USA. So let's talk a little bit about each of those components, since it's two kinds of events kind of running side by side. So the showcase, which we will probably focus a little bit more on with vehicles, that's going to be in the parking lot of the Sonoma Clean Power. There will be parking in a separate parking garage on 5th Street. First hour is free, and then it's 75 cents an hour. And I believe that there will be some vouchers for folks who are coming to the show to stay a little bit longer, another extra hour. Vehicles we're planning to have from dealers are an EV9, Silverado, Blazer, Equinox, the VF9, the Ford Lightning, ID4. and owners were planning on having Val the truck. That's the conversion that John and Ellen worked on. Model 3 Bolt, and another Tesla Model 3, and we'll have a few others depending on which vehicles are available. Also available, Switch will be coming with their training vehicle.
I noticed someone volunteered to bring in.
And for the workshop, we're going to
Okay,
have
good.
a few workshops, ones that are planned. They're going to be like about 10, 15 minutes. But you'll need to register for the workshop in order to go. So unexpected benefits of drive electric, charging strategies, incentives, great deals in used vehicles, and road tripping are the names of those presentations. That would be,
Yeah, we're still trying to get Enphase to do the charging strategies one, but we haven't heard back from Enphase.
Did you talk to Mike?
I talked to Brad. Brad's running the Enphase track there.
One thing I do see up here, I haven't been involved in this because I'll be out of the country, but the county has a very active organization that advises on incentives and things like that. You guys might want to reach out and see if they want some representative too.
Yeah,
What's called the climate resiliency division now.
Yeah, and they have specialists, specialists in various areas for incentives. In fact, the first time I went to SCP looking for incentives for some changes I was making on my property, they handed me a flyer that didn't work. At the bottom, I had the phone number for the county. And they said, "Yeah, that's an old flyer, blah, blah, blah. What do you want to do?" "Okay, this is the specialist you should talk to. Let's make an appointment."
Yeah, Kristin Condon is probably start.
Good.
Is that with the Regional Climate Protection Agency?
No.
No.
So if you guys have POCs, it'd be great if you could do the outreach and then get back to either Sonia or Cecilia or myself. That'd be great if you guys could. A wingman is always better than a cold call, 100% of the time. So.
Is this all going to be in the 10 to 11 slot?
Yeah. So it's going to be
1 hour.
Yeah, 10 minutes per topic, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, just kind of an overview. Yeah, we may drop 1 or 2 of them depending on how it goes. So. Okay. Anything else, Cecilia?
That's it for that. I did go ahead and throw in a slide for that Manchester event that you mentioned. So if there are any folks who have non-test EVs, trucks and things like that, you can find the event on the Eventbrite and reach out there.
Manchester's located
Well, Manchester's in California. It sounds like it's not, but there is one.
Well, that's great. So that that connection came in through my nephew's tenant. I was at his house yesterday, bumped into him, and I've seen him at various events through the years. So, okay, over to you guys. I'm not sure who's gonna.
Is it possible to adjust the slide deck so the Zoom?
Just drag the left side.
Yeah, I thought you had more room on there.
Just drag the left side of the window.
Oh, wait.
It'll go
Take
vertical.
Wait. Take your window.
Yeah,
Hey, Don, what kind of computer is that?
A laptop.
Isn't it HP?
It's like it's
Bummer.
No.
If you can change the window from.
Can you do the view options?
Yeah. No, it's not there. Just a second.
Just a second. Can't you get a real computer? Nobody uses these things anymore. Go back to your window. Go back to your thing. Can you change this to a window instead of taking the whole desktop?
I have no idea. I'm not going to figure that out right now.
Perfect.
All right. I will aim the screen at you. Yeah, go ahead.
So first off, I have to give Kristin credit for the title of the presentation. Very clever. Equal to everything, everywhere, all at once. Not just yet, although we do have our first interconnected G2G system set up at the end of last month.
Oh wow!
Yeah. All right.
So
There you go.
now we could have talked about a lot of different things. So this is just a small selection of pieces that are going on in we're part of what's called a Clean Energy Transportation team at PG&E. And then within that team, I'll just kind of give you a little team structure and then this stuff here. There's a team set up called Customer Acquisition and Experience, and that team's really helping chargers get installed at a commercial level, as well as some programs we have set up through, we get funding through low carbon fuel standard. And those programs, we use programs primarily to help customers in disadvantaged communities get access to EVs, EV charging, and like overcome barriers to EV adoption. Have all managed in that group. There's a team of engineers that are out engineering the chargers going in the ground. And then the team that we're on is called Vehicle Grid Integration. So it's basically, once EVs show up, how are we going to leverage, how can we leverage these EVs to help manage the grid? So that's kind of the piece of the team. This is, I feel like you guys are going to know all of this. You could probably give parts of this presentation. But clear message on the left is EV adoption by state in 2023. California is way leading the way. And you can see over here that actually 1 in 8 EVs in the entire United States is within the PG&E service territory.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have, that's probably a little hard to read, but we're at 610,000 EVs registered in operation in the PG&E service territory right now. And I'll talk a little more. It says PG&E goal 3 million by 2030. That's kind of like our strategic goals to be able to support 3 million EVs on the grid by 2030. You can see we're a smidge. That's the blue line there. You can't really see any of that, but that's our goal by the end of the year. I think we're tracking there to hit the 3 million right now. So 1.7 EVs registered since at the end of 2023. 40% of the EVs sold in the U.S. are in California. 28% of sales in 2023 were EVs. So actually that's 2023. Half of those that were sold in 2023 were Tesla. So just kind of backstory story there. And then just, PG&E, our service area, 70,000 square miles. So from the Oregon border over almost to Nevada down to Bakersfield, Sonoma Valley.
Yeah. You may cover it later on. I just want to, there's a question I'd love to get an answer on.
Yep.
I know. I got rid of fossil fuels and reduced my energy content by 62%.
Yeah.
But my electric
Yeah.
has increased threefold. That is the amount of electricity that I use is threefold. So
yeah.
I'm hoping you're going to come along because you're talking about here's our goals.
Yeah.
Well, the price has gone up by threefold too.
Yeah, very good.
There are rates. There's an e-elect rate that is made for customers that are on electric or that are electrifying their home, which allows for a larger baseline, which is like, we know you're going to be using more electricity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just changes the baseline.
Yeah.
So the 3 million by 2030, that's in the PG&E service, or that's what you're expecting in California?
No, that's
in the PG&E range. Oh,
yeah.
So okay.
So that's our goal. We want to be able to support. It's a little higher. I think that there's, I'm trying to think, is other forecasts using, who's the source of that? EPRI or CEC, that they're trending a little lower, but our goal is the 3 million by 2030.
That's what That's what you need to build that to hit that.
Right.
Goal.
That's what we want to be able to support that many EVs on the road.
That's 5 years and 2 months.
Well,
what do you mean by what do you mean by support?
So being able to provide electricity for them, being able to work through the barriers to electrifying, being able to have the capacity to support all of those EV charging needs. So we do not want, we are supporting EV adoption. It's really a win for everybody, win for climate, win for PG&E, win for customers. And I can go into more detail there if you want to dive into what does that mean. But we want to make sure that we are able to support the infrastructure, the programs, et cetera, that are needed to support the number of EVs on road. And then, like I said, our team is more about EVs are there. How do we encourage behaviors and set up programs that can leverage those EVs to also help support grid needs?
Definitely, that changes a lot because well now instead of parking cars, it's a sustainable peak for the powers.
Well, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but it's really that is true. It can do that. I think really what we're trying to do, the way this works and the way that's beneficial for everybody, is about making more efficient use of the grid, especially our distribution grid. So right now we peak 4 to 9 p.m. That's our system peak, and that's also we have some solar generation on our grid. That's when the solar starts coming down. Everybody comes home and starts using energy at their home. So that's our peak period. So by not having the EV charging at that time, and by aligning EV charging with renewable, time when renewables are high, we can basically, we're trying to just make more efficient use of the assets that we're trying to kind of flatten the load in general. Right now, if you put in a request, I'm going way off the slide, but if you put in a request,
I can't imagine that.
I had a feeling with this room, it's just going to be more of a Q&A.
Yeah, you can tell your story and then we'll come back at it too.
I'll finish this and then I'll go
Yeah,
back
okay,
to it.
very good.
So, right, like typically you put in a request and you say we're building this charging bank and we want 5 megawatts. So we need 5 megawatts to run this charging bank. And say, oh, we look at what are the peak times on the grid and can't support the 5 megawatts. Those kind of how things used to be done. You used to build for system peak. Now we're looking at more creative ways to say we can't support that during these hours during the summer, but 90% of the time the vehicle supports the request that we need to do the model during these time periods. And being able to set up programs where it's like, we'll give you signals the day ahead or we'll tell you what the schedule, what the capacity is looking like, and manage to that. So a lot of it is how do we make more efficient use of the assets?
I'm just going to
Got it.
Taylor and I sent a proposal to solve that with assets that we have.
Did you say, can you submit it?
No, Taylor and I, we thought
okay.
all stuff. In the innovation group.
Oh, good. Awesome. I will try and find that.
In summary on slide 1.
On slide 1, there's a lot of EVs and there will be more EVs coming. All right.
Okay, very good. Yeah, perfect. Let's just, there we go.
So this is this is kind of our strategy. These are our 2030 goals. So I said 3 million EVs connected to the grid. And I said our team is really around leveraging these connected assets to serve the grid. So we have this target here of about 500 megawatts of flexible load through vehicle grid integration by 2030. So that means shifting energy from peak to off-peak times, or using some like managed charging programs to make sure that EVs are charging at times that won't cause capacity constraints on the grid, and the vehicle to home, vehicle to grid programs that make use of the battery assets. I have a video here. It's just kind of laying out like a vision of what a simple kind of EV, what the experience would look like in a simplified version.
Hey, Cecilia, if you could play that link called VGI video, lower left-hand corner.
Okay, hold on, let me see about that. Is the microphone pointed at the speaker closest to?
You could also, we could go back and look at it later.
No.
There's the microphone, yeah. No, it's just one mic.
For some reason, Dome, you're really loud and the speaker's really quiet.
That might just be true. Yeah. Want to give that a roll?
Okay. Can I play it from here or somebody else?
Yeah, she's playing.
I just need.
Yeah, if you could play it again, Cecilia, that'd be great. I think it already played.
Which one is the mic? This one?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, see, you can make it go.
Welcome to PG&E's electrified future. Before long, leasing or owning an EV will be as easy as self-checkout at the grocery store. When you get an EV, all eligible incentives will automatically be applied, and you'll be instantly enrolled in the most favorable charging rates for your lifestyle. With one click, you'll be able to enroll in options like PG&E's Vehicle to Everything program, allowing you to power your home, sell electricity back to the grid, and save money. Ready for a road trip? You can easily find your way to nearby low-cost charging stations and reserve a spot for a quick and reliable charging experience. And when you plug in your EV at home or work, it can choose to charge when energy is most affordable and clean, while still ensuring the vehicle is fully charged for your morning commute. Your safe, reliable, and efficient EV is ready to start saving you money the minute you leave the lot. And PG&E is here to support your electrified journey.
All right, so that's the vision of what we're working towards. We're not there right now, but we are working every day to get closer to that.
So that sort of implies that when you charge, it's going to be based on a availability signal, as opposed to charge at midnight. Did I read?
So
did I
there's
sort of interpret that the
different
right
rate
way?
options we're looking at.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's move forward to the next slide. I can talk about that. Okay, so there's different ways that all of this can be done, and these can all kind of stack together.
Okay.
So, and you're talking about is rates. So right now the rates are whole home rates for the most part, right? It's one rate for your house. There are EV rates, EV-TOU rates, and the off-peak time is midnight to 3 p.m. We are working on rates that vary by, well, let me take a step back. Those rates right now are like retail rates. They're built, they're designed to capture the grid needs, but make them generally, like over the course of the year, it's correct. It's sending the correct signals at the correct times, but it's not based on market needs at that moment. You can look at like the CAISO, they're not exactly tracked to what the grid needs are at that second, but they're reliable and they're easy to understand. We're also building out rates for a future where you can get on these rates and receive hourly prices the day ahead that'll be reflective of actual grid conditions. So these rates have a generation component, they have a distribution component, they have a transmission component. And all those pieces are built into these rates that'll vary by hour, sent a day ahead.
And location.
And look at, yeah, that's the distribution piece, right? The location, where you are, what are your local grid constraints? Now, some customers aren't going to want those, right? Some customers will, some customers won't.
Will it be integrated somehow? We have to personally check them.
No, so we have no vision that somebody is actually even this group of like enthusiastic early adopters who wants to think about what their rate is every hour. It would absolutely need to be done with some technology and probably some kind of service. It's also like you set up when you need to charge your car, and a service provider or like an aggregator will make sure your car is charging at times that are, meet your needs and that are the cheapest. So we wouldn't expect people to be tracking that.
And what is something someplace I don't some of the workstations and other have to be able to take signal from
I don't know about that regulation.
No, we have devices that do that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I thought there was a regulation saying in the future that it's going to be required
Because right now, like public charging. Oh, is that kind of funny? Okay. I mean, right now, charging stations do. No, they don't have to get the utility, but they're obviously paying utility rates, and then they choose what to charge customers.
Is PG&E involved much in the permitting process for charging stations, or did the whole level?
So I know on the home level, no. I mean, it's done. The permitting process, no. That's done by an electrician, right? And like,
Yes.
If you discharge, you can discharge. PG&E is involved in it because PG&E has to know, first of all, that if you're discharging from, understands the rules that are there. So if you do arbitration, you can't arbitrate against PG&E. So by buying cheap energy today, discharging in about 8 times. The major things they do. The second part is to make sure that the discharge you have, it's never great enough that it will overcharge distribution network. So that's part of the mechanism. It's not that today it's not that bad. It's going to get bad.
well, good news is. Kristin and many other people were working on all of this. Kristin had a background at, she worked on the interconnections piece of the CPUC.
Permitting and the interconnection process is
But my permit is done. But I can't turn it on until you guys say yes.
That's correct.
I guess where I was going with the question was that I had a main electrical panel in place in this, right? And PG&E was involved in that process, but I also was involved in the installation of a charging station. It wasn't involved in that process.
the panels are
Okay.
service that feeds the panel also needs to be able to make this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They can't hear us? Since when?
Other than Gary. And the reason I was trying to get a sense of that is because I don't know if PG&E has. Do you know how many EV charging stations there are?
Residential.
Yeah.
So it's a great question. We should know. There is a, well, it's not a requirement. There's a notification. It's a notification requirement in our rules when you upgrade load, but we know it's not followed.
You can't do it anyway because the car came with a huge portable charge cable. So I put in a 15 amp circuit.
Right.
Circuit, I plug it in, and it does the same thing as my stationary station.
So we're working through. We're working on some software that we can use to detect when we believe somebody is charging an EV at home. Just so we have a better idea of the number of EVs in our service territory, but it's also something we're working through just on the customer experience side. How do we make this easier? We know going through your project process and like that process can be challenging, and how do we educate electricians and others kind of as part of the ecosystem and what pieces need to get done in. But you're right. Right now, if you're not upgrading your panel, we don't know. Or if you're just you're plugging into your electric dryer outlet, or even just using, plugging into a 120 outlet, we're not.
That's what you should know. A 7 kilowatt garage. This comes on. It stays on for an hour.
Yeah, it has a certain appliance signature, but surprisingly, it's one of those things you think, oh, that's a no-brainer. That's not very hard. But we've looked at a few different software products, and it's harder than you might. Yeah, it seems like it would be a really straightforward thing to just pick out the level to be charging, but yeah, there's other. Right now with the customers that have EVs, remember the stat, 60 to 70% of EV drivers have solar. Yeah. And we think right now, if you look at technology adoption curve, we think we are moving from early adopters in our service territory more over to the early majority. So I suspect that number might go down, but right now it's really high customers. And those customers that have solar on their home won't necessarily go on to an EV TOU rate because that might not be the best rate given the system.
We got a question from the thing. I'm not sure if it's relevant to this part of the topic or if you want to cover it later. When existing solar customers become over 20 years old, will they automatically move to NEM3?
That answer is yes.
Because it's a real problem out there right now.
Yeah, I know.
Get involved, maybe.
Yeah. We have maps available like on our website with charging stations. I mean, PG&E obviously is the only person providing those types of resources, but I don't know of active plans on that. You on our team right now? I don't know of active plans.
It could be a huge track, but also
yeah.
It's somebody that's in charge. It's kind of a separate charge.
So we can't see specifically who has an EV. So obviously DMV has that. So by zip code, we get data from every quarter. So we know by county, not by zip code, we know by county EVs. EVs registered and EVs in operation.
Solar panels. Every month I get a statement.
Yeah.
Which shows how I fit in the best and
yeah, home energy report.
Yeah, it's got a graph on it.
Yeah.
But they don't know I've got these, and I always do very poorly.
Yeah.
Even though I'm all electric, all the.
Yes. So I provided the feedback as well because I'm in the same category. I'm a EV owner of a solar, and so I do get this. Yes. Known. I wouldn't even. It's not a feature. It's a known bug.
That's a good bug. Yeah, I get those too.
Yeah.
There's a question. I thought the idea was to encourage solar, but this seems more about PG&E increasing profits. So will we now be punished for having solar? Figure out how you want to answer that one.
I would say PG, because I know this is a tricky topic, but PG&E is supportive of solar with the reforms that have happened, which means solar customers are paying for using the grid. They're still grid tied when you have solar. And at the rate of adoption that we see in PG&E service territory, there's a big cost shift to customers without solar paying for that grid connection piece, the services that solar customers are getting from remaining tied into the grid. So that was what the last round of NEM reform was about truing that up, reflecting cost of service when you have solar, you're still grid tied, you're still using energy unless you could operate completely off the grid, but that's different. Typical solar installation in the house.
And within the presentation today on Google Apps, I think somebody I hear complain about that. So it's this. The thing PG&E, the service that you need, which was to store the energy that you collected so they can get it back to you.
Yeah.
That's the service you're paying for, not penalizing you for having solar.
Yeah.
You're charging you for the service that you just put a burden on them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not perfect. I think I followed some of it at a distance, and it certainly, you know, like everything that goes through a regulated process, some of the pieces that came out were great, some pieces weren't. Everybody lost a little bit. That's how we ended up at like NEM 3.
More so installers like
Yeah, so that's what NEM 3 is encouraged. The structure is meant to encourage solar plus storage. And so that's what it's set up to do. And we are working on, so on the rate piece, there's two things I'll mention you guys will find interesting in that. One piece is sub-metering, which means, again, right now, your rates are based on what's recorded at the meter. We're working on a process where just your EV can be sub-metered using the data from your EVSC, in which case we could do some really cool things with rates just for EVs. We're looking at hopefully good, but looking at if we could create, again, this is just like things we're exploring. Can we create like some super off-peak charging incentives to charge when the renewables? So those are the types of things that we think we could do. Have a lot more innovation once sub-metering process gets.
Well, I still charge both our cars starting at midnight.
Yes.
That's great.
That is off-peak. That's the beginning of off-peak. So I'm gonna hold on to that because I'm coming back to that. Okay. So there's links here. I'm not gonna click on them. There's a link here to go to the finding out more about these rates. This link down here at the bottom is the EV savings calculator, and you can go there. Cool tool. Find personalized incentives. If you're looking to buy an EV, you can look through incentives that you qualify for, because you know it's kind of it's a job. It's a hodgepodge of different incentives that are available through Air Resource Board or other places to put together. And then find your best rate. So you can put in information about like what rates you're on, what even if you have solar, information about the panel, et cetera, how much you're using, and find that is more for if you're considering an EV. If you already have an EV, you can go on the PG&E website. There is a tool, find your best rate. It'll look at your past 12 months of usage, run it through rates that are available, and say if your usage stays the same, about the same, these are what you would pay.
Given the time of day, so
yeah,
that's the end of that. Is that calculation with the historical patterns, but then also
yeah, it does have some of that at a high level. So it has high level, like, can you change when you're using, could you use more energy during these periods, and you can say yes or no. But it's not like a super user tool where you can say, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little more, yeah. So that's,
yeah.
Like for you, how many people wants to get on the roof?
I produce 40, 45.
All right, so he's charging midnight.
Yeah.
So during the day, but
yeah.
You reduce your costs if you charge for the solar panels.
It depends on what rate he's on.
Well, he's on the wrong rate as well. So.
Well, that's why, I mean, I do think so.
He's on TOUC.
Yeah.
That's wrong rate.
Yeah, we don't do charge your vehicles.
Would it be true that charges currently at midnight, switches that to 10 a.m., additional savings of 30 minutes?
I don't think it's broken out like that right now. I'm saying like in the future we're going to break out, or like future rates that we break out generation, transmission, distribution, and the rate varies by hour on those three components.
Yeah,
it's not set up like that.
So if he's generating the day,
Yeah.
the charge, PG&E's going to charge him for the power that he draws and the distribution. It's on S&P. Pulls in the generating S&P charge for the energy.
Yeah. Okay.
But the distribution charges and all of that stuff, you guys can charge for. During the
Yeah.
day, when he shuts it all back, S&P says, okay, fine, I got my energy back, but don't bring back the distribution. That's what left. The transmission charge is not all paid back.
Okay. I've reached the end of what
Yeah, right,
need
right,
help
yeah.
on. I think we would have to look at a specific bill
Yeah.
in periods of time that may be true, but I can't. Yeah, I don't know if I can speak on the fly about it.
So we've got a
Yeah.
couple of questions. Lawrence, you have a question?
Did you expect this?
I do.
Lawrence? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm disheartened. The whole CPUC economic structure around PG&E encourages, and all the utilities in California, investor-owned utilities, encourages them to do as much infrastructure work as possible instead of relying on distributed energy resources, such as, behind the meter storage, behind the meter distributed energy resources. So my feeling is sometimes PG&E jockeys things around, the NEMs and the rate structures, to make it so you can't plan ahead and it's economically infeasible to do something behind the meter. And I think we really got to change the structure. Instead of doing massive grid upgrades in order to electrify our buildings, we need to go to massive behind the meter storage in the way of EVs. Not someday, but today. We've got the technology to implement it starting now, and people are doing DIY stuff with off-the-shelf technology without any manufacturers just having to check off on it or modify their cars or even change the software. But it's not happening because there's no economic incentive, because there's rules against it, and the CPUC and the major utilities are all together on this. And to me, it's just like, well, something's got to change with the way that the government and the economic structure incentivizes what the utility does. And I mean, that's not your fault.
Question, Lawrence. Lawrence, you have a
Well,
question?
the question is, what is the motivation for PG&E to do anything behind the meter with distributed energy resource and virtual power plants? Is it just lip service and show, or is there real economic incentive to do something there?
I worked there for 18 years because I really do believe PG&E is trying to do the right thing. I wouldn't still be there. I don't know if that means, just my own personal testimony there. The economics behind it is something, it is there. We're working on it. I'll tell you, the short story is, given the load growth from EVs and data centers, etc., if we do not utilize DERs in a significant way, the rates will go up very high. We do not want the rates to keep going up. I know that may be shocking to you, but it's already high. We already know that rates have gone up recently. Top down is keep, we know we can't keep raising rates. So there is an economic incentive there to keep to utilize DERs. California policy, our state sets these very aggressive renewable targets and clean energy policies that we need to follow. And so we have mandates to reach where our company goal is to be net zero by 2040. And we can do it. Really, we can do it it's hard. There's a lot of barriers, but we can do it.
It's like, let's let you get further into the presentation, talk more about these guys instead of defending the company.
Can I just suggest that
Good idea.
So I think we talked a bit about rates, things that are coming around hourly pricing, the sub-metering piece, which we think we could unlock a lot of innovations in what we can do, how we can leverage these. This second category here is something we are working actively on, launching a pilot and working on how do we scale this up. So this is using managed charging to shift load. So that can benefit either the bulk, the distribution, the bulk system, which is generation transmission, and that can also benefit our distribution system. And so what that means is like a customer says, I need my car to be charged by 7 a.m. at 80% state of charge. And then there's some sort of service provider entity there that manages not only when your vehicle is charged, it looks at what's cheapest for the customer and it looks at what are grid conditions to optimize the two of them. So like you said, a lot of customers are starting to charge at midnight. And what we're seeing now is there's capacity constraints on the distribution system because of that. If you have several EVs starting charging at midnight, you can overload the service transformer. And so programs like this are set up to say, we can still get your car charged by 7 a.m. Let's just either throttle down the charging, do a few vehicles at 50%, or start your vehicle at midnight, the next one will start at 3 a.m. Everybody's cars will be charged. So that's something we're actively working on there. Kristin will talk about the bi-directional.
I mean, is there any coordination with the car manufacturers and the EV manufacturers to make that happen more quickly? Or again, with like the Bolt, the Chevy Bolt already has that technology built in.
Yeah. So Lawrence, let's let them go through the presentation and then ask that question. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
I thought she said she was done.
OEMs are on board, right?
Right.
We can't do this alone.
Right.
Next slide.
Yeah. You go to the next slide, Cecilia.
Okay, this is high level. We could spend an hour like diving into this. I'm just going to go over it at a high level. I can be available after the presentation if you want to dive into the economics behind all of this. We're just saying for customers, there's an opportunity to lower your bill. The new revenue sources through like vehicle to grid or using the battery to charge from home. Backup power of having the battery. Ultimately, this can lower rates. Like again, using the infrastructure assets, like increasing utilization on those, can drive down rates for everybody. Utility, it reduces system peak, reduces our local grid constraints, it increases our utilization, and increases renewables. So everybody wins here. We're more reliable system, resiliency and backup power. We need a THC reduction and a lower cost for utilizing our assets. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is the pilot I was talking about. This is called this is like a load management managed charging pilot. So the graph up here, you don't need to see the numbers, but look, it's showing a bunch of EVs are charging. We're going over the limit for the service transformer there. Maybe just smooth it out. The charging period, you can remain under that limit. So what it does is it allows us to extend the life of the service transformer, and it allows us to add more EVs in the same service transformer if we can coordinate their charging. So we're rolling this out next month. Unfortunately, Roman is not in here. These are some of the highest EV adoption areas and the areas where the service transformers have the greatest needs. So we're going in Santa Clara, Contra Costa, and Alameda County, 7,500 vehicles to recruiting. Based on the service provider we're working with now, but it was Tesla, ChargePoint, and Wallbox.
So those EVSEs are smart devices, and they will communicate with the grid and say now's a good time or later's a good
So
time.
we'll have a system that there's a service provider called WeFrid.
Okay.
They connect with the OEMs and with the EVSEs,
Okay.
and they connect with us. In the future, we are building out a whole like distributed energy resource management system that'll be able to do all of look across the grid and say what are the needs right now, and maybe be able to send those signals out. Basically, we tell them what the needs are, what are the service transformer limits these EVs are connected to. They can use the data for like all of the premises mapped to those service transformers to understand what the total load is.
And then how many houses per service transformer, just to get a sense of scale?
I know it's the best.
Yeah,
everybody's
right.
favorite
But is it like a
answer.
neighborhood or a city or a region?
No,
or-
more like a neighborhood, but in some cases it can be so. More like a neighborhood.
More like a neighborhood.
Transformer system on board.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it depends too, like there's different economics. What we're trying to figure out is where's the best business case for this? Like underground transformers, much more expensive to service them. So like let's target those areas if they're kind of transformers reaching their limits there. So trying to prioritize for all this, and that's what we're studying here. So this is the kind of stuff we're hoping to scale. This is a pilot, starts in October, it'll run through the end of 2025, and we're looking for ways like we want to scale this to across the service territory.
And the 7,500 vehicles is in each of those counties or among the 3 counties that you guys are? Okay.
Go to the next slide. Okay. Now Kristin's in the hot seat.
Before we transition, let me just make sure the chat didn't know we didn't lose anything here. Got that one. Real world examples of reimbursement for 75% of them 3. Okay, so sure when this one came in, 7, so it's been a while. Real example, reimbursement is reduced 75% in 3. Sure, that's a question. And then, is there a desire for voluntary staggered charging times for EV phones? I think the answer to that is yes, right? And that's what the managed grid thing was supposed to solve.
That's this pilot. We're going to see. We're testing not only just how this actually works in the real world, we're also testing and working with customers and focus groups and whatnot around what is the right incentive level for this for customers to participate, or just because all of that factors into like what is the business case for this program. You have to show that it not only benefits the customers participating, it benefits PG&E, but it also can drive rates down.
Right.
So we need to be able to demonstrate all of that to make a filing to say this is a program we can scale across the service territory.
Okay, thank you. Kristin.
All right. So we covered V1G. We're going to move into V2X, which encompasses emergency backup islanded systems, V2H, V2 building that are not grid tied, and then V2G, which includes if you are only offsetting load on site and not exporting past the meter, and then V2Ms are microgrid. So next slide. 3 pilots. 1,000 residential customers is a very ambitious pilot. And I'll say that extra dimension that PG&E is tackling uniquely is the customer choice aspect. So right now, we have 1 vehicle pairing on each of the residential and commercial pilots. but we continue to work with OEMs to get more product on our eligible product list. So yeah.
Okay, I was good.
but a long, yeah.
Been on the horizon for a while. Go next slide. So this is the headline for the residential pilot. If you are signing up, if you have the equipment now, you can sign up $4,000 up. That is not going to cover any of your costs. Just up front, I know you have to buy a new vehicle. This is not going to cover charging and installation of the system that goes with it, which I can show you. I think that makes sense.
You say these are credit?
Yeah, so this is the way this is structured is you go buy the car, get the charger installed, enroll, and we'll pay you this money.
Yeah, I thought is this the same program that's been open for like 3 years?
This has been open. Actual enrollments began April of 23. We did have starting in November 22 sort of interest form that folks.
Okay, that's right.
That's pretty cool. We have
Yeah. We know this isn't covering the costs.
Yeah, right.
These were designed in like 2000 before any of this happened, and we thought, oh, like $2,500, that's a lot of money, and one directional charger is $1,000, including installation.
So if I read this right, this when I read this on the web, right now the vehicle that's supported is an F-150 Lightning, at full stop, right? Or and everything else is once that is proven out.
Everything else
you'll
is
start looking
us
at everything.
relying on the product being commercially available,
Okay.
and the OEMs agreeing to work with us,
The vehicle OEMs
and the charger OEMs.
and the EVSC OEMs. Okay. And so right now the folks that have said yes to both of those things are Ford and their charge station and the Sunrun home integration system. And why does it say 0% subscribe? What does that mean? Does that mean that that's been open since November and nobody said I want to do it?
We have 2 people fully enrolled.
Oh,
but with a goal of 1,000, that doesn't show up in
yeah.
so,
right. There's no rounding up to get to 1%. Right.
We only have 0 digits behind the decimal.
Okay. And that eligible product list is still accurate, so it's only one vehicle.
Currently where it stands.
Okay.
This is my job.
Yeah, right. We want subscribers.
Do you work with the Ford dealerships in PG&E territory?
Dealerships, no, we work with Ford.
Okay. But I'm assuming the F-150 Lightning gets sold through dealerships instead of through corporate?
Yeah, but we have no role in the purchase of the vehicle.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the dealerships might be able, and maybe the corporate does also, tracking who's bought those vehicles. So
Ford corporate does have records of how many Fords are in their territory and how many have purchased the Sunrun integration system. So I know how many people are getting the email that says, sign up, we'll give you money.
Because they've already purchased the equipment.
Because they have it all installed.
Huh. Do you have a sense of how many people are eligible?
Double digits.
So less than 100. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I just 100 would require 3 digits.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, you're talking
lightning reservation.
70.
We started to do the thing that first. I said, well, how much is the vehicle to good thing?
Depends very heavily on your personal situation. If you don't need any trenching or infrastructure upgrades or panel upgrade or anything like that, you're still looking at
I did all that stuff already.
We have a lot of questions about this stuff.
Yeah.
You want to keep moving and then capture some.
Yeah, we can go into the Ford system itself. I've got.
Next slide.
Yeah, next slide. This is what the whole Ford system looks like. That's a lot of wall space. So I can run through this. I'll say that this piece is your main service panel. This is the backup panel, and this is a battery that.
If you guys can't see it on the video, we're starting from the right and going towards the left.
Yeah. So one is the main service panel. The one next to it is the relocated loads panel, the backup panel. So all of your essentials that you want your Ford F-150 to back up when your power goes out. And then
protected loads. That's a
backup
sub-panel with protected loads.
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
The ones that will get back up.
Okay, good.
And then all of the inner workings. From the left-hand side, you have vehicle, the charger. That next box is a battery system that they also want to sell with this product. The big one in the middle is the actual inverter. That's the one piece of this that has someone's name on it. And it's an off-the-shelf Delta manufactured product, which is how Ford got to market fastest. Transfer switch is this one, this next, yeah, the little box. The additional, so this battery on the bottom is not required. This one in the top center is a dark start battery because the way the product operates is that when it detects a power outage, it disconnects the whole system from the grid. So there's zero power. And so you have the dark start battery to kick on the controls to let the vehicle discharge. Let's go next slide.
Well, can I ask a question from a couple of slides back?
No.
We'll come back. We'll come back.
Let's go through the whole thing.
I've had people locally have been asking questions. My hands up been for a while. So please check, and if you're going to field local questions, please field them from Zoom people too.
Sure enough.
So this is Ford calls it intelligent backup power. It works the way I just explained. This is the full capability of the existing product as it's released today. So it does not operate in grid parallel. It will not reduce your bill. That is all to come.
But it doesn't do arbitration.
It does not do arbitration. You cannot discharge from the grid unless you cannot discharge from the vehicle unless you are disconnected from the grid, which is what happens when the grid goes out. It disconnects. So you will still have to reset your microwave clock and all that. Absolutely, yeah. This is islanded V2H. Islanded V2H. V2H, people use it both ways. And grid-tied V2H still requires interconnection. This system, as it stands now, does not.
Is anybody working on plants on?
So this system will do V2G as soon as Ford's ready to release the software. Still have to go through interconnection to be able to do that. So let's go next slide.
Can I ask a question? I hear lots of local questions, although I can't really hear them. I only hear the answer. Might I jump in?
Is it on the Ford system? Yeah.
Well, okay. So a bunch of questions. First, there are non-Ford systems. There's a CCS system that works with any CCS car that has chosen to put out a software patch, although possibly it works with cars without the patch. But anyways, there's a CCS bidirectional charger that I understand is vehicle to grid ready already. But of course, you need to be able to communicate with the utilities. And so far, no one has the go-ahead to communicate with the utilities. So the question is, have you looked into the CCS?
Which system are you talking about?
What's the product?
You know, I'm forgetting the name, but there's at least one CCS bidirectional charger that has come out in the last couple of years. And of course, it has everything else you don't need. So it's like a $6,000 thing, but so does the Ford system. So anyways, the question is, did you look into CCS? And the next question is, why are you funding people to get backup power systems when they don't actually do anything for the grid?
Because they will do things for the grid as soon as Ford releases the software.
And do you have a guarantee that they will do that?
We are talking with them on the timeline for that release. Within the length of the pilot.
Okay, and then as far as, did you look into the CCS solutions that are on the market?
If I don't have a product name, I can't help you.
So you did not look into any CCS solutions?
We are working with multiple manufacturers who have viable products that is still not yet commercially available.
So you're saying that you don't believe there are any CCS products on the American market that are bidirectional?
They don't have the ones. There are plenty of advertised systems. The systems, I mean, I'll name them. Decibel. Yeah. Decibel's R16 are now called the ARA. So that one is what Nissan is relying on. That's a brand new company, brand new product, not UL certified yet. Wallbox is a company that started in Europe. They have a product that is also in UL certification.
It's the Quasar.
Quasar 2. Yeah. So that will be a bidirectional option for the EV9 to start with, and expanding from there. The GM home backup system is very similar to Ford's in fewer boxes. It uses the same inverter, so it is also certified. Ford, GM has not committed to doing grid-tied bidirectional operations until their 2026 model.
Okay, so it sounds like you have looked into it. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know about Enphase's product. The Fermata products, the FE15 and FE20, are three-phase products, so those are for commercial applications. So, fleets of them. Say a couple words about how this product Sure. Yeah, so the requirements for getting on the eligibility list. We have a very short legal agreement that essentially says your product, so there's one for the vehicle side, one for the charger side, and the vehicle side you say, okay, you have your product, it works with X charger, and meets certain basic technical requirements, and you promise to give us the data for the pilot. That data is what's going to help us build the full-scale program to offer to all customers. On the charger side, very basic technical requirements. UL is a safety requirement. Got to have it. and it has to be compatible with a vehicle as long as those two cross-reference each other, and you promise to give us the data, then we're happy to put you on the list. So anyone who's not on the list hasn't made it through that process yet.
Right.
For any number of reasons. Yeah, not an invitation only process. We want to host your product, I swear. Yeah, so on the slide now, part of participating in the VDEX pilots is participation also in a separate pilot called Emergency Load Reduction Program. Ford has rebranded it as California Power Response. That's program is an event-based. This is, again, while you have a islanding home vehicle-to-home system, the opportunity for savings here is if you are usually charging your vehicle from 4 to 9, to then not charge your vehicle from 4 to 9, based on a baseline. So prior 10 days versus event day is the delta that you're getting performance based on. When Ford releases their bidirectional software and folks get interconnected, they will be able to export and get credit for that negative load. Is that the bad way to start? And then
What's going on?
this will be a way better deal when you can export from your vehicle.
So, the thing I'm not understanding here is about the export. For a battery system, typically, my battery system is not discharged to the grid. My solar system is discharged. Battery system is not. And you can see that when typically when the plant lines coming in, knowing which way the power is going, that the car can discharge it to zero. And after that, you have to stop charging. It's a system, the battery system. And at that point, it's more likely to go home. This vehicle is connected to the grid. You never take the power out of the vehicle, put the energy in the vehicle onto the grid for surplus.
Right. So grid tied vehicle to home is going to be Ford's first offering.
Okay.
So they, and this still requires interconnection because it is capable of discharging from the vehicle while you are connected to the grid. That's all the utility cares about.
Oh, okay. So that's why PG&E is involved in the most charging stations. Okay, I didn't get that before.
Can we address some of these questions on the,
Yeah.
on the chat here? I think we covered the one that was cost with somewhere between 10 and 20,000, right? Interoperability between all these grid backup systems that are tied to manufacturers. Cecilia, do you want to expand on that question?
Oh no, I got it.
You got it? Okay, never mind.
Interoperability is the ability for any EV to plug into any charger and work properly. And the reason we don't have that is because they all speak different languages. Standardized communication protocols have been attempted and still interpreted different ways. So they still speak different dialects and can't talk to each other.
It's not sufficient.
So I think what we're looking at now, like what GM is putting in their vehicles for 2026, standards called 15118-20. So this is what Europe is using and what hopefully eventually everybody will use, but in order to get product to market now and secure your customer base and be exclusive about it, SATSA speaks their own language, or speaks their own language.
And they're doing this for commercial reasons, of course, right? So they lock you into their network. Yeah, right. Got it. So well blessed.
I add from my perspective, you're a perspective to look at. Must be involved. If there's an alert in the car, it needs to be able to speak with everybody else, right? That's me. Or
I believe you.
Or battery. It's each or battery.
They may not have the same constraints.
Or on a computer network position, they have a code that has completely different information. Standard.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you had a question?
Time check. I mean, put it in there. Probably got 3 more hours of questions. But
wait, 3?
But I do hope maybe you can touch upon what you have is a sense of where to learn more beyond today. I mean, I've always thought this next question. But is there a collaborative utilities and industry collaborative, or maybe even for you guys to get out and get some updates a little more frequently? If you are, maybe I'm not seeing it, but these are sort of. How do you learn? There's so many levels. We're not going to answer them all today. I'm just curious if you can address that. So, like,
I just want to chime in on it because because I've been driving EV so long, and they've got a car. They say, "Hey, where can I get more? When can I do this? When can I do? What have I done? What should I have bought?" Etc.
I don't know. So, good answer. You're really smiling because it's not a good answer.
BGI Pilot Communications at pge.com. Me. BGIC Vehicle Grid Integration Council is a very good resource. I, on the interconnection side, have been interfacing with a bunch of different utilities through SEPA, who has put out some good resources. They're not going to be when can I with this car, but they're good basic informational materials for what is islanding V2H versus grid tied V2H and things like that. They're being really good about that.
Mhm.
Cars that are on the road today, it's like, oh, they don't have bi-directional capability.
Yeah.
My Tesla, but there's all the Tesla capability, they said it was something. I don't know what the right answer is. But not to answer the question right now, it's like, where do you go?
Well, it really depends on what question you want to answer. I mean, when I first saw these slides yesterday, I had only been thinking about V2H, right? How do I back the thing up when there's fire? Simple, dumb as a brick question, right? I had no idea you guys were trying to solve V2M, V2G, V2X, and I had no idea how many X's were behind the X. It was, for me, it was just power goes out, give me the car, let's go. I need it for 2 hours because they're gonna have it right back on. You know.
So, Caleb and I were today that we deployed a bunch of large trucks that were years ago, different site, and we have to find a company that can now look at 12 delivery trucks, plug in at one time, and how do I change the charge station so that it's stepwise charge them? Because if they all turn out at one time, it means the deliveries.
It's a megawatt hour.
No, it's going to melt the wire.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fleet management softwares, charge management softwares. There are a lot of them now.
So once you know that, if you could send that to me, I can distribute it.
Yeah, then you're going to contact the GM dealer here, because you couldn't get his charge station in.
Yeah,
You
can get it connected.
Yeah, there were several little URLs you guys mentioned, and your email address. I know. We could.
Yeah, you can send those back to me. I can put them out.
This is a super specific research program. For most people, it doesn't even. So I don't know why we would point people to this, especially when he's already reaching out to everyone who has the equipment.
Yeah. Exactly. In fact, I mean, I'll extend you an invite right now to come back in about a year. And hopefully in about a year, some of this will have, some of the gel will have shaken out and be some solidity to walk on. You know, maybe a little creme brulee still, but really good stuff. Are there more slides? I think
There might be one more interesting one. Okay, so let's get to the last one. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually my first lesson then is nothing works the first time.
Right.
Because you don't know what you don't know, and we're doing all of it for the first time, and everything takes longer than you could possibly imagine. So I'll say on the non-residential side, we do have a school bus fleet that has just been interconnected. We have 74 TELUS chargers in Oakland U.S. Unified School District.
It's in Oakland, not Pittsburgh is the one that gets covered against the U.S. And supposedly, county
Yeah.
That on your radar?
If they're going to be bidirectional, they will probably go through our payment.
Yes. You don't know
Again,
yet.
limited bidirectional.
When will they start?
So yeah, those buses are taking us kids to school every day and charging on our network at night. Those buses are now able to discharge to the grid when we call an emergency load reduction program event. And then we are looking within a month to launch hourly flex pricing is the customer facing name for our buses. Yes, there's one point of interconnection for 74 chargers. So they are using Flex Connect, which is we can't serve you enough power for 74 chargers charging all the time. So they have a schedule in their charge management software that says when they can charge how much of their total capacity.
We do have one, maybe two questions left. Maybe you want to address them.
This is one of those you don't know what you don't know things. We are already aware that customers, like the Ford backup system setup, is not V2G compatible with existing sun-run solar systems.
And they've been working together for how long?
I thought that was the point.
It is the point. But like even within the same company, the presumably supported product,
right?
There is still that disconnect. I will add another layer of complexity, which is if we want to go back to the Ford diagram. So in this diagram, the vehicle, the battery, and the solar system all plug into the same inverter. And right now, Rule 21 and NAM integrity rules, vehicle exports are not eligible for NEM compensation. The requirement is to have a revenue grade, so net generation output meter, NJOM, which has to be on the AC side. And so in this configuration, if you were to interconnect today, the solar and battery systems would not be eligible for NEM compensation.
The reason it's working is because it's someone's contracts. Contracts someone has that it has signed with saying, I'll give you power from these batteries.
So I still think it's separate. I still think that it is the brains of one system work fine by themselves, But if they have to, if a GM system has to talk to a Tesla Powerwall, all bets are off. Yeah, so the next iteration to allow something like this is submetering. So submetering is being tested so that we can, for billing purposes, rely on third-party data. That is
the risk of using it, though,
so California's NEM system was developed on the basis of supporting renewable energy. And the vehicle can charge anywhere else off-site, and therefore we cannot guarantee that the exports coming from the vehicle are green electrons. So that is where you have the NEM integrity broken.
simplicity. But you said something else that was interesting as a vendor. The challenges getting stations street is that you have to measure the electricity going into them without a meter. You have to, there are companies that actually provide stations and you report back to PG&E what the billing is. This how much electricity. But so far, there's never been agreement saying, yeah, we can take your meter data and use it for our billing.
So that is what we are testing in the pilot for submetering. We are signing up, we are calling them meter data management agencies, NBEAAs, that are signing up to provide us that data, and we are testing our ability to trust that data and run it through a billing system.
That is great, because once you can do that, those private entities, those private companies, can actually start putting stations on the streets. So
it enables a lot of things. One of the things that I know, so this problem with multiple energy resources going through a single inverter means you don't have to have 3 inverters, which is great. It is the same setup and value proposition that GM and Decibel are both going for. So really looking forward to submetering. The other use case for that would be to be able to say, okay, because we have one inverter, we know that this much power went from the solar system into the vehicle, and therefore we should get credit for exporting that from the vehicle as well. So that accounting, technically software can be done, but getting into the utility space as a regulated entity that bills customers all over the state is non-trivial.
I was shocked at the number of boxes that are on this. I don't have enough room anywhere in my building to put all of that.
Outside.
Yeah, right.
Basically,
yeah, that is a lot of stuff.
Ford got their product to market by gluing all
A bunch
those
of stuff
boxes
together. Right.
These are all existing off-the-shelf parts.
Right.
And so it is a kludge of a product, but it is first to market.
Right.
And so I have to give them credit for that.
Right. So we are at time. We can keep going if you guys are available, or we can call it good and reschedule and maybe pick up again in a year like we talked about. We got less than a year. Really up to you guys. If you know, whenever you think you have a major update, we'd love to hear about it from you guys. What's that? I mean, I consider this kind of a first discussion, really, as opposed to the last discussion. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
One thing you have to pick it up with this group, bigger, is get better than this group. People that come in here, and we didn't just talk about gigs. We talked about electrifying the home. We talked about eliminating the use of methane. We talked about solar panels. Most of us end up being the same installer because we presented here a couple of times and they knew everything that was happening in the area and they were understanding it. So we're north. That was the thing though. So yeah.
We had a lot of opinions.
Yeah, we have a lot of
That's right.
That's the short answer.
No, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Set it up.
Yeah.
Stuff.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we have to take a shot.
Yeah.
I would be really curious about, what you would love to see as participating. There are kind of the things that you're waiting on. Prices. Things like that. There are the things.
Yeah, at this time, the pilots are whatever. All the efforts have been pulled into that.
Okay.
Lack of interoperability.
There you go. Now, also, it's anybody flat who's in charge of this who works through that side of it, which would carry over to this.
Yeah. In public charging, IONA is an effort between GM and some other number of companies. Mercedes is in there. Yeah, so IONA. So that's that is a bunch of OEMs getting together because otherwise they can't be
EV service station is actually person there, service station for warehouse and the robots. Yeah, that actually is fun. Hey, you guys did great.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we've got
one more question, if I might.
Of course.
Okay, I just typed it in the chat. So my sense is that for us to meet our climate goals with vehicle to grid, we need to have level 2 home chargers that you use in the evening be bi-directional, and most of them. So in order to do that means we need an inexpensive system that will replace both plug-in and hardwired level 2 chargers that are used at home these days for about the same cost. And that means no additional backup battery, no solar, no second car charging, etc. So I'm wondering, what is PG&E
yeah,
doing?
just get to a question, Lawrence, because we're well after time here.
What is PG&E doing to encourage this approach?
We can't.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Ford solution, I think you got your answer. That's what's currently kind of the state of the play, right?
Yeah, so I guess the only solace I can give you is that the studies that I've seen from, I think it's NREL, is that we only need to tap a very small percentage of vehicle batteries to cover all our needs.
Right.
Well, but your needs don't include getting all fossil and nuclear power off the grid with 100% building and transportation electrification. Imagine your needs include major grid
PG&E's,
build out.
Net zero goal is 2040.
Right. So what I'm saying is that there's
aggressive goal to be carbon free by 2040. So if you keep saying it's not in their interest, and they're not interested in it, they are.
well, we can do it sooner than that if we leverage the resources we have and if we focus less on corporate profits and more on using the technology and the hardware that's available today.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap this up and talk about the next meeting. So since we're doing National Electric Week, I'm proposing that we don't have a meeting in October.
Good, then I don't have to send the announcement out, and I won't be here.
Exactly. And for November, we met with Switch at the. Unfortunately, Ellen, we're going to have to skip your slides today just for time. So we'll be meeting with Switch Lab, and hopefully Switch will help us connect to try to close the loop on the discussion that Sony started 3 months ago on what we do with our excess cash. And then I'm hoping that they have some ideas on scholarships with local schools. We both, I think, you reached out and we didn't hear anything back, because from what I understand, when the professor at SRJC left, he went to Switch, and the JC ED program is now defunct. So I think if we talk to Switch, get a brief from Switch on this, they may be able to help us, whether it's the Technology High School in Motor Park or Anley, which is where the Technology High School in Motor Park leader just went to. So anyway, we'll figure it out. But the goal, I think, right now is to have Switch here on November 9th. And if somebody else who is really desiring for a meeting in October, then make the slides.
Hey, Dom,
Yeah.
Dom, could I say something just for 1 minute?
Sure, of course, yeah.
I just wanted to let everyone know really quick that John and I were able to fix the Santa Rosa Community Market Level 2 free EVSE charger.
Right on.
And so, anyway, just wanted to let you all know, if anyone shops at the Santa Rosa Community Market, you can now charge there while you shop. So we were able to fix it, and we're excited to have it back in the working state. Just wanted to let you all know.
Thank you very much. So I guess the one thing, since we're the current plan is to not have a meeting in October, bring your family and your friends down to the Drive Electric Week.
Are you going to put up an email on that?
Yeah, we'll get some more tracking down on that for sure if you're coach National Drive Electric. But bring your friends and family down there, and we've got dealers showing up with vehicles this year. Chevrolet is showing up with 3 vehicles. Jim Bone is showing up with the EV9. We have Rivian showing up, I think. VinFast, I think, is showing up. So dealers are going to be there with new vehicles, and then we'll have some of us bringing our own vehicles there. I think what Cecilia said is we're going to curate the list so that we don't have 9 Teslas and none of these. We're going to try to get it all sorted out. So who needs what? But please show up and bring your interested loved ones, or at least friends.
Yeah.
Or maybe just people you know. Okay, well, very good. Thank you very much. All right, I think that adjourns the meeting.